Hi guys! Sam McCall's shocking return. The truth behind Drew's wedding day deception. Recent developments in the ongoing saga of ABC's General Hospital have created unprecedented speculation among fans regarding one of daytime television's most dramatic potential storylines. The intersection of Sam McCall's mysterious circumstances, the controversial wedding between Willow and Drew, and persistent theories about villain Shiloh Archer's possible return has generated intense discussion about what could be the most explosive revelation in Port Charles history. While Sam McCall was officially pronounced dead on October 30th, 2024, emerging fan theories and speculative content suggest a far more complex narrative may be unfolding. The foundation of deception. The circumstances surrounding Sam McCall's death have been shrouded in mystery since her apparent passing following complications from liver donation surgery to save Lulu Spencer. Initially believed to be the result of an embolism, the truth about Sam's death proved far more sinister. Viewers later discovered that Cyrus Renaud had murdered Sam by injecting digitalis into her forebag, believing he was following divine guidance to end lives he deemed artificially prolonged. The revelation came through flashback sequences showing Cyrus entering Sam's hospital room and administering the fatal dose of heart medication to a patient who had no heart, condition requiring such treatment. However, speculative content and fan theories have begun suggesting an alternative narrative. According to emerging theories, Drew Kane may have somehow discovered Cyrus's plot and intervened before it was too late. This speculation proposes that Drew managed to save Sam's life while allowing everyone, including her closest family members, to believe she had died. Such a deception would require careful planning and execution, suggesting Drew had been monitoring the situation closely and had his own motivations for orchestrating Sam's apparent death. The psychological implications of such a scenario would be devastating for Sam, who would have been separated from her children Danny and Scout, her partner Dante Falconeri, and her mother Alexis Davis while they grieved her supposed death. For someone as family-oriented as Sam, the emotional toll of witnessing her loved one's pain while being held captive would represent a profound form of psychological torture. The wedding nobody wanted. The upcoming wedding between Willow and Drew has been characterized as the wedding nobody wants. Throughout the storyline, various characters have attempted to prevent this union, with widespread opposition from both Willow's family and the Port Charles community. Michael has used Willow's children to try to stop the wedding, while Nina remains determined not to let her daughter marry Drew. The controversy surrounding this wedding stems from Drew's increasingly manipulative behavior, including his blackmailing of Portia to alter Michael's medical records and his schemes to make Michael appear to be an opioid addict. Willow's transformation throughout this storyline has been particularly troubling to observers. Despite learning about Drew's treacherous plans, including his blackmail schemes, Willow has continued to defend his actions. Her willingness to support Drew's manipulation of medical records and his efforts to frame Michael demonstrates what many characters recognize as a deeply concerning psychological state. Even Drew himself has begun to question whether he pushed Willow too far, suspecting she may have been involved in stalking Michael's new baby and driving Sasha and Daisy out of town. The wedding's timing has created the perfect storm for dramatic revelations. With so many secrets lurking beneath the surface and numerous characters opposed to the union, the ceremony presents an ideal opportunity for explosive confrontations and life-altering disclosures. The Shiloh resurrection theory. Among the most intriguing theories circulating within the General Hospital fan community is the possibility that Shiloh Archer has returned from the dead. Shiloh, who was presumed killed when Sam shot him with a flare gun during their final confrontation on the Haunted Star, has been the subject of persistent resurrection speculation. As one analysis notes, dead never means dead on a soap, particularly referencing General Hospital's history of resurrecting characters who were seemingly definitively killed. The show has a well-established pattern of bringing back popular villains, and Shiloh represents one of the most compelling antagonists in recent memory. His obsession with Sam, his manipulation of vulnerable individuals through the Dawn of Day cult, and his numerous crimes created a lasting impact on multiple characters. The possibility of his return has been fueled by recent mentions of Dawn of Day in current storylines and observations about Drew's increasingly controlling behavior toward Willow. Recent episodes have introduced Professor Henry Hank Dalton, whose introduction to Anna Devane included the specific phrasing, "I'm Henry Dalton, daughter, Hank." This detail has not gone unnoticed by fans, who recall that Shiloh's birth name was David Henry Archer and that he went by Hank before his Dawn of Day era. The timing of this new character's appearance, coinciding with increased speculation about Shiloh's possible return, has led to theories that Professor Dalton may be connected to the presumed dead cult leader. The mask revelation theory. The most dramatic theory suggests that Drew Kane is not who he appears to be, but rather Shiloh Archer in disguise. This speculation proposes that Shiloh has undergone plastic surgery or is using sophisticated disguise techniques to impersonate Drew. Such a reveal would explain Drew's recent behavioral changes, his obsessive need to control situations and people, and his willingness to engage in increasingly desperate and harmful actions. If this theory proves accurate, it would mean that the real Drew Kane has been eliminated and Shiloh has been manipulating everyone in Port Charles while hiding behind Drew's identity. This would represent the ultimate long-term deception, allowing Shiloh to integrate himself into the community's most intimate circles while pursuing his various vendettas, particularly against Sam and those who opposed him during his original reign of terror. The mask revelation scenario would provide maximum dramatic impact, particularly if it occurred during the wedding ceremony. Such a revelation would not only expose the truth about Drew's identity, but also explain his recent actions and provide closure for multiple ongoing storylines. It would also set up numerous future conflicts as characters grapple with the realization that they have been deceived by their most dangerous enemy. The custody battle implications. Central to current storylines is the intense custody battle between Michael and Willow over their children Wiley and Amelia. Drew's involvement in manipulating these proceedings has included emotionally manipulating Wiley by telling the child that his father Michael didn't want him anymore. A cruel tactic that shocked even morally flexible characters like Rick Lansing. If Sam were to appear and reveal Drew's true identity as Shiloh, it would completely invalidate the custody proceedings and expose the extent of the manipulation involved. Such a revelation would have profound implications for the children involved, who have been caught in the middle of adult conflicts and manipulations. The exposure of Drew as Shiloh would also explain his intimate knowledge of psychological manipulation techniques and his ability to exploit vulnerable individuals like Willow, who has been dealing with her own psychological struggles. The community impact. The potential revelation of Sam's survival and Drew's true identity would send shockwaves throughout Port Charles. For Dante, who has been grieving Sam's loss and struggling with the aftermath of her supposed death, the discovery that she is alive would represent both overwhelming joy and the trauma of unnecessary grief. Their relationship, which had developed into a strong partnership with plans for marriage, would need to be rebuilt in the wake of such deception. For the broader community, the revelation would force a reevaluation of recent events and relationships. Characters who supported Drew or were manipulated by him would need to confront the reality that they were deceived by one of their most dangerous enemies. The psychological impact of such a long-term deception would likely have lasting effects on the Port Charles community's ability to trust and form relationships. The children most affected by these revelations would be Sam's own children, Danny and Scout, who have been grieving their mother's death, as well as Wiley and Amelia, who have been manipulated in the custody battle. The adults in their lives would face the challenging task of helping them understand and process these complex revelations while rebuilding family structures that have been damaged by deception and manipulation. Next, we will learn about the compelling case for why Jason Morgan and Britt Westburn make an unbeatable romantic pair, with at least 4 solid reasons highlighting their potential to ignite sparks and captivate fans in Port Charles. Kicking off with a fundamental truth in the ever-evolving world of General Hospital. Jason Morgan has been navigating the turbulent waters of Port Charles without a true romantic anchor for what feels like an eternity, leaving a void in his storyline that's begging to be filled. As one of the show's most enduring and beloved figures, known for his stoic demeanor and unwavering loyalty in the face of danger, Jason deserves a love story that draws viewers in week after week. Much like his past entanglements that kept audiences glued to their screens. Tragically, his former flame Sam McCall met an untimely end, severing that passionate connection, while his deep friendship with Carly Spencer remains firmly platonic. Offering support but no fireworks? Adding to the mix, Sasha Gilmore Corbin's recent departure from town has closed off any budding possibilities there. And the writers seem content to leave his history with Elizabeth Baldwin in the rearview mirror, perhaps to avoid rehashing old wounds from their complicated past. To invent a fresh twist, picture Jason brooding alone in his sparse apartment overlooking the harbor, staring at a faded photo of happier times, his mind wandering to what could have been, only to be interrupted by a cryptic message hinting at Britt's survival, setting the stage for her triumphant return. With Kelly Thiebaud officially confirming to TV Insider that she's reprising her role as the enigmatic Britt Westburn, the stars are aligning perfectly for her to sweep back into Jason's life, injecting much-needed romance and revitalizing his arc with the kind of electric chemistry that could redefine his solitary existence. Delving deeper into what makes this pairing so intriguing, Britt Westburn emerges as the quintessential chaotic counterpart to Jason's complex persona. Her flaws and unpredictability creating a dynamic that's ripe for dramatic tension and heartfelt moments. Britt, with her history of scheming and redemption arcs that have endeared her to fans despite her missteps, embodies the kind of multifaceted woman who can match Jason's own intricate layers as a reformed mob enforcer with a moral code that often puts him at odds with his dangerous lifestyle. After all, this combination promises not just romance but genuine entertainment, as Britt's sharp tongue and impulsive decisions could pull Jason out of his reserved shell, leading to banter-filled scenes that light up the screen. For example, envision an invented scenario where Britt, fresh from hiding, crashes into Jason during a high-stakes stakeout at the docks, her witty retorts clashing with his silent intensity, sparking an immediate connection that evolves into stolen glances and protective gestures amid the chaos of Port Charles' underworld. Jason's stoic nature, often bordering on enigmatic silence, benefits immensely from someone like Britt, whose sassy and surprising personality injects vibrancy and humor, turning what could be mundane interactions into must-watch television and echoing the show's tradition of pairing brooding heroes with fiery heroines who challenge them to grow. Another layer to their potential magic lies in how Jason uniquely perceives and champions the hidden facets of Britt that the rest of Port Charles often overlooks or judges harshly, fostering a bond that's built on mutual understanding and fierce defense. While others might see Britt as the villainous doctor with a trail of scandals, Jason glimpses her vulnerable Corithy woman who's fought personal battles, from health crises to family betrayals, and emerged stronger, much like his own journey through amnesia and loss. This insight could blossom into a classic us versus the world narrative, where they stand united against skeptics and adversaries, their relationship a fortress amid the town's gossip and rivalries. To add a creative new element, imagine Jason overhearing a heated argument at the hospital where Britt is unfairly accused of past deceptions, prompting him to step in with a calm yet authoritative defense, revealing details from their shared history like a secret late-night conversation during her illness where she confessed her deepest fears, proving he sees the real her. As the storyline progresses, this protective dynamic could lead to intense plot developments, such as joint missions to uncover hidden threats in Port Charles, solidifying their alliance and hinting at a romance that's as resilient as it is passionate, reminiscent of iconic couples who've thrived on defying expectations. Finally, the excitement ramps up knowing that even Kelly Thiebaud herself is rooting for a Jason and Britt reunion, as she enthusiastically shared in her confirmation interview, signaling a promising future for this fan-favorite duo. Thiebaud expressed her eagerness to dive back into their unfinished story, stating, "As far as story goes, obviously, I want Britt and Jason to get back together," and adding that she's thrilled to pick up where we left off, which has ignited hope among viewers for heartfelt reconnections and steamy developments. This behind-the-scenes endorsement adds an extra layer of authenticity, suggesting the writers might lean into the chemistry that once sizzled between the characters. Inventing an additional spark, perhaps Thibault's return includes a teaser scene where Britt, presumed dead after a mysterious disappearance tied to a botched espionage plot, sends Jason a coded signal from a remote location, urging him to embark on a perilous quest to find heralding adventure with romance in true soap opera fashion. In the months ahead, Jason's determination to locate and verify Britt's survival could culminate in a dramatic rescue, paving the way for them to explore their lingering feelings. But only after he navigates the obstacles of doubt and danger that stand in his path. Next, we will learn about the puzzling absence of Jasper Jax from the vibrant world of Port Charles, exploring why this one central figure seems to have vanished from conversations and storylines despite his deep ties to key characters like his daughter Jocelyn. Reflecting on the passage of time in the bustling town of Port Charles, it's hard to believe that 4 full years have slipped by since fans last caught a glimpse of the charismatic Jasper Jax, portrayed by Ingo Rademacher, whose presence once wove seamlessly into the fabric of General Hospital's most memorable arcs. Jax, the suave Australian businessman with a knack for high-stakes ventures and heartfelt connections, left an indelible mark through his passionate romance. Think of the fiery ups and downs with the resilient Carly Spencer, where their chemistry sparked endless drama in boardrooms and beyond. Or his epic, globe-trotting love story with the enigmatic Brenda Barrett, filled with tropical escapes and emotional reunions that kept viewers hooked. Not to mention his infamous sibling rivalry with the devious Jerry Jax, whose villainous schemes often dragged Jax into perilous family feuds, like that explosive plot involving a hidden toxin that threatened the entire town. As the devoted father to Jocelyn Jax provided a grounding influence amid her teenage turmoil, offering sage advice during her health scares and romantic entanglements. To invent a fresh detail, envision a flashback to Jax surprising Jocelyn with a custom surfboard from his Australian roots, symbolizing their bond during one of her hospital stays. A moment that highlighted his role as a protective parent. Yet, with Jocelyn navigating recent heartbreaks and family crises, such as her complicated relationships and the shadows of her mother's past, it's strikingly peculiar that she hasn't uttered a single word about her dad, almost as if he's been airbrushed out of the narrative, leaving a noticeable gap in what should be ongoing family dynamics. This eerie silence surrounding Jax has sparked a wave of frustration among the dedicated General Hospital fanbase, who are voicing their confusion and disappointment across social media platforms, questioning why such a pivotal character has been sidelined so completely. In earlier seasons, Jocelyn would frequently reference her father, perhaps sharing stories of their video calls or even jetting off for visits to his exotic locales, keeping his influence alive even when he wasn't on screen. Fans are buzzing in comment sections and forums, pondering aloud why his name hasn't surfaced at all lately, especially during plot lines that scream for a paternal perspective, like Jocelyn's emotional struggles with identity and loss. Some speculate that if the show has no intention of bringing him back, they might as well give him a dramatic exit, such as a mysterious off-screen accident tied to his adventurous lifestyle, to provide closure rather than this lingering void. Adding a creative new element, imagine fans launching a viral petition on Twitter, complete with fan art depicting Jax's hypothetical return, where he swoops in to counsel Jocelyn during a heated confrontation with her stepfather, Sonny Corinthos, emphasizing how his absence feels like a missed opportunity to enrich her character development. Indeed, other departed figures, from long-lost relatives to former flames, get occasional nods in dialogue when the story calls for it, making Jax's total erasure stand out as an anomaly that disrupts the show's rich tapestry of interconnected histories. Diving into the behind-the-scenes saga that may explain this oddity, it's worth revisiting the real-world events tied to Jax's actor Ingo Rademacher, whose departure from General Hospital in 2021 sent shockwaves through the soap opera community. Rademacher, beloved for infusing Jax with charm and intensity, was dismissed after declining to adhere to ABC's mandatory COVID-19 vaccination policy implemented during the height of the pandemic. A decision that also affected co-star Steve Burton, who portrayed Jason Morgan and faced a similar fate at the time. while Burton made a celebrated comeback in early 2024 once the mandate was lifted, allowing him to reclaim his role amid fan cheers. Rademacher pursued legal action against the network and the show, alleging wrongful termination in a lawsuit that highlighted tensions between personal beliefs and industry protocols. To expand with an invented twist, picture Rademacher's character being referenced in a subtle nod during a hospital board meeting scene, where a new executive mentions Jax's past investments in medical research, tying back to his storyline without directly involving the actor, proving that such acknowledgments could maintain continuity. This history underscores the challenges of blending real-life controversies with fictional worlds, yet it raises questions about why Jax couldn't at least be name-dropped in passing, preserving the character's legacy separate from the performer's path. Ultimately, the core issue boils down to the timeless debate in soap operas, the need to distinguish between the actor and the role they inhabit, ensuring that beloved characters like Jax aren't lost to off-screen drama. Even if Rademacher's return isn't feasible due to lingering legal echoes or creative directions, there's ample room for the writers to weave Jax back into the fold through casual mentions, perhaps Jocelyn receiving a care package from him during a low moment, filled with Australian treats and a handwritten note offering wisdom on her latest dilemmas. Moreover, the option to recast the part remains a viable path, as General Hospital has successfully done with other icons, introducing fresh talent to breathe new life into established personas while honoring their histories. Inventing another layer, consider a speculative storyline where a recast Jax returns incognito, disguised after a business deal gone wrong overseas, only to reveal himself in a cliffhanger moment that reunites him with Jocelyn and stirs up old flames with Carly, adding layers of intrigue and nostalgia. This approach could revitalize forgotten threads, reminding viewers of Jax's integral place in Port Charles and preventing his complete fade into obscurity. ABC General Hospital spoilers suggest that while Jax's current invisibility feels like a narrative oversight, the potential for his essence to resurface through mentions, recasts, or fan-driven storyline could reignite the spark he once brought to the show. What do you think saw Jax make a comeback to support Jocelyn in her time of need? Stay tuned for more insights into the evolving dramas of Port Charles.